morning students. In previous video we had finished the lesson animal tissues. Animal tissues lesson is finished. Now I am starting the 7th chapter animal behavior. Now I am starting the 7th chapter animal behavior. In this animal behavior we are going to learn about the animals, how they behave, what is their nature. We are going to learn. So here we have given that above. Observe above pictures. So you have to observe the pictures first. So the pictures are given in page number 94. Here one butterfly and one gorilla. Butterfly on a flower. Butterfly fluttering on a flower and a gorilla at rest and a bird making nest. A bird also making a nest. The pictures are given. First you have to observe this. Observe the above figures. You must have observed all these things in your surroundings. You observe all these type of things in your surroundings. While observing them, you might have got questions like this. So you can observe some pictures. So some birds make nests like this, just like this. Some birds make nests like this. And some birds also, how amazing making like this, and how spiders make a web. How spiders make a web, round they make web, no? And how the ants identify sweets, and how the birds are made like this. How can a fish swim in water after birth? How can a calf run on after birth? So where they got, how they got this type of characters? Who gave these characters? Only the God's gift. That is only God's gift. So here, how do fish need not to learn to swim? Why do fish need not to learn to swim? Why? Who gave training to fish to swim in water? Nobody. Why do fish need not to learn to swim? Fish need not to learn to swim. After birth, coming out of from the egg, it easily swim. Next, how can butterfly find a nectar? How can butterfly find a nectar? How can butterfly know that honey is there in that flower? From where it comes and how it suck the nectar with its proboscis. Next, how do ants search their food and pass information to each other about this? How do ants find out search about the sweets and how it gives information to other ants? Next, who teaches a bird to make a nest? Did you give a practice to make a nest to birds? No. Do you give practice? No, nobody gives practice. Next, in the lesson we will try to understand about why animals behave in a specific way. In this lesson we are going to learn about why the animals behave in this specific way. Why animals behave in this specific way? Is there any pattern in their behavior? Is there any pattern? And what are the factors that affect on their behavior? What are the factors in that character? What do we mean by animal behavior? What do we mean by animal behavior? Animal behavior is a scientific study. Animal behavior is a scientific study of the interaction of animals, with each other, with other living beings also. We love nature. So we love and we see the beautiful nature also, and we see the environment, how beautiful it is, how it is helping us to survive our life. It explores how animals relate to other physical environment as well as to other organisms, and includes topics. So here we are going to learn about different types of animal behavior. What are the different types of animal behavior we have here? So different types of animal behaviors are instinctual behavior, imprinting behavior, conditioning behavior, imitation behavior. First one is instinctual behavior. Instinct behavior. Next one is imprinting behavior. Next one is conditioning behavior. Next one is imitation behavior. Next one is tagging behavior. So what are these behaviors? Instinctual behavior. Instinctual behaviors are behaviors which are God's gift. We can say which are need not to be learned. Which are God's gift, which are need not to be learned are the instinctual behaviors. Instinctual behaviors are need not to be learned. Already by birth we get that behaviors by birth. By birth we get that behaviors. So that are instinctual behaviors, need not to be learned. Example, how ants search the sweets, how the fish get swim, it got the swimming nature. Fishes swim automatically after coming out of the egg. And how birds building a nest, and how the spider spins a web. How a spider spins a web. Spider spinning a web. And bird making a nest. How the bird making a nest. How the spider spins a web. How the ant searches its sweets. And how the fishes swim in water. Next, how the butterfly search the nectar. And the behavior, this type of behaviors all comes under the instinctual behavior. So they are need not to be learned. They are need not to be learned. By God's gift, by birth only gets that nature. So that are the instinctual behaviors. Example, these are all. Next, imprinting behavior. So chickens and ducklings follow its mother. The chickens and ducklings follow its mother and are able to walk almost immediately after hatching. After immediately hatching, the ducklings and chickens walk after immediately hatching from the egg, and they follow their mother. Ducklings even swim after a few days. Ducklings also swim after a few days. How they got this type of behavior? They recognize their mother because of the behavior type called imprinting. They recognize their mother, the behavior called imprinting, and they follow them. Ducklings will follow the first moving object. Ducklings will follow the first moving object they meet after hatching. So ducklings, whenever they see first time, they follow that. So if they see the human being, they follow that human beings. And chickens follow its mother. So this is the imprinting behavior. Ducklings and chickens following their mother is the example of imprinting behavior. What is that? Imprinting behavior. Next one is conditioning behavior. Next one is conditioning behavior. What is conditioning behavior? I will tell you here. So this is about a scientific study. So one scientist called Ivan Pavlov. Ivan Pavlov did one experiment. What he did? He did one experiment. So he took a dog. He has a dog in his house. He gave food material. Before giving food material, he rang a bell. Before giving food material to the dog, he gave a ram and gave the food. 3-4 days he did like that. He rang the bell, he gave the food. He rang the bell, he gave the food. Like that he did. And after 4-5 days, 4-5 times, he, without giving food, he rang the bell. Then the dog starts getting wet its mouth and producing saliva. Dog starts producing saliva. It is called conditioning behavior. It is called conditioning behavior. Understood? So without giving food, with a signal, it knows, the animal knows that I will get food. So it starts the production of saliva. Automatically saliva started. Automatically saliva secretion started. So here one more thing. So at the time of first bell, you play and you move here and there. In the morning after coming to school, when you at the time of first bell, you play here and there. And at the time of second bell, automatically you form a what line, and you come to the ground and you make line and you are in attention position for assembly. What is this conditioning behavior? What is this conditioning behavior? Next one is evening time. Last bell, after 7th period, there is a long bell. At that time, how do you know? You know that now it is the national anthem time. So you are be ready for national anthem. So this is also a conditioning behavior. And how do you know it is interval time? How do you know it is lunch time? By ringing bells. Not only bells. So the time for this, that is the what? Signal. Any signal for any work is a conditioning behavior. I think you have understood clearly. Next one is imitation behavior. Do you follow the Virat Kohli? Yes, you know, nowadays all the boys, especially who are in adolescence, follow the Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli's hairstyle, Virat Kohli talking style, and how he walk. Otherwise, you follow different hero or different actors in the films who you see. Especially somebody follow Chiranjeevi, somebody follow Nagarjuna, somebody follow some other heroes. So this is what behavior? Imitation behavior. What is that? Imitation behavior. And the advertisements also given in the televisions. So you follow that. So you want to buy that things. So the commercially they use the imitation behavior and they give the ads in the television shows, and they commercially attract you and they sell the what things what they use, especially the shampoos and the creams and the things what you use, especially the clothes and ornaments. These are all imitation. What is this? Imitation behavior. Next one is tagging. What is tagging behavior? Tagging behavior is nothing but here the birds in a group, a flock of birds go in a group. So that is what migration. In search of food for reproduction, the birds go from one place to another place in search of food and to bear the situation, to bear the typical winter situation, they go from one area to another area. So this is also called as what? Tagging behavior. So that is what? In group, they go in group. A group of birds is called flock, no? So the flock of birds go from one place to another place. They migrate from one place to another place in search of food to escape harsh winter weather and for reproduction. This is also called as what? Which behavior? This is also called as tagging behavior. So in next video we learn about again some other topics in this lesson. This is very interesting lesson and very easy lesson. Once you read, you can understand the topic easily.